everyone who are attending today's RxJS live conference. So we have one of our sponsors here with us. So I'm just going to quickly ask him to introduce himself. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's great to be here. So I'm from Adaptive. I'm the CEO and co-founder. We are a financial services technology provider. We build front office trading platforms for banks and hedge funds, exchanges, firms like that in Europe and in North America, as well as in Asia. We've been around for about 8 years. And it is fantastic to be able to support RxJS. Rx and the approach it takes to the approach it enables to building applications is something that is right in the sweet spot of the sort of systems and platforms we build for our clients. I myself was using Rx back in 2010, 2011. I was just looking through my emails to try and find when I got my job that got me into Rx, which not the conversation for now, but is really the job that changed my life. So I hold Rx very, Rx means a lot to me, and it's fantastic that RxJS is going as strongly as it is with this fantastic conference.
Oh, okay, very interesting. So yeah, talking about Adaptive, I understand that you co-founded this with colleagues of yours. Where were you all before you formed Adaptive?
We were working for another consultancy, working for a French bank in London, and that project is actually the project that we used Rx on. So we picked up the first libraries of Rx that came from Microsoft back in 2010, 2011, I think it was. We were writing a Silverlight app that then migrated with Silverlight app on the front end with .NET on the back end. That is now been rewritten in HTML5, and we were big users of Rx at the time.
Okay, so it's a longer history of RX than with the team. So that's great. So can you tell us about why the mission, vision, and values of the companies speak to you personally?
Absolutely. So when I met the people that I started the company with, and indeed that team that worked on the project I just mentioned, we managed to put together a group of individuals who were fantastically great at collaboration and innovation and sharing of knowledge with each other. When we started the company a few years after that, we really wanted to have the same culture, an engineering-led culture where developers and other people involved in the software development lifecycle are collaborative, innovative, open about what they don't know as well as what they do, because we found that when we were in that environment and delivering fairly complicated, large-scale projects using cutting-edge technology, that approach of being able to say, I don't know, meant you learnt 10 times faster than if you pretended you knew. And it also meant that the team itself delivered a better job, which was a really enjoyable environment to be working in. And so that we've encoded in our mission and values about being a great place to work that enables innovation and collaboration, exactly that feeling that we had. And I think the fact that we've got Joseph speaking at the conference, he has picked up that innovation and collaboration spirit and is a great example of it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he reached out to me with regards to speaking at this event, because obviously RxJS is closely tied with the Angular community, and I'm glad to actually have someone speaking about React, because obviously it's used with other frameworks as well. So yeah, it's really wonderful that we have this talk today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to talk about the products that Adaptive has at the moment, and who are your target customers?
Absolutely. So we as I mentioned, we build custom platforms for large investment banks, exchanges, and firms that work on what we call the buy side. So investment managers, asset managers, and hedge funds. And we're involved in a part of their world that is they call the front office, which is around liquidity discovery and liquidity distribution. So that is electronic trading. So those are the screens that you see when a journalist is standing in a trading floor and they've got a computer screen behind them and there's lots of numbers flashing, sending prices, and people entering deals and buying and selling large amounts of FX or equities or corporate bonds, all on screen. So those are the systems we build for our clients. And those things are characterized by streams of information. So a price stream with the price changing every 4 or 5 times a second is just a stream of information. To us, it's an RX stream, and we model it as exactly that. And we use RX on the front end in HTML5 applications through RxJS, be it with React or an Angular, as you mentioned, as well as on the back end. So we use Rx libraries like RxJava or Rx Scala on the back end to implement the same sort of composition and control of the streams of information that are flowing around the systems we build. We differentiate ourselves in the market by building platforms for our clients that they then own. So we're a technology provider to some of these very large firms, and we compete with other technology providers, so product firms that you might have heard of, like NASDAQ Technology is a good example of a product firm that sells into the space. What we do is bring technology that accelerates the delivery of projects for our clients, and then we build bespoke on top exactly what our clients need. So the developers and the engineers that work for us are involved in project work, building very complex, fast-moving, great-looking platforms for our clients that are very, very high profile, that mean a lot to their business. It's really, really critical for their business that this stuff works. So we put a lot of effort into quality of engineering, quality of testing, quality of design, and quality of requirement specification, because we understand that our clients are spending a significant amount of money with us to build their platforms, and that they run their businesses, which deal with quite a lot of money on a daily basis, and that we need to give them some of the best engineering that they can have, really.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I used to work for Citigroup.
Okay, there we go.
Yes, I'm very familiar with like financial systems and all that. And yeah, definitely, like we I think used to subcontract a lot of the projects, especially with like that project I was involved with, which is currently rolled out in 100 countries. University Group has a presence. It's a big project, and like internal folks, there's not enough really to build, this massive thing. So we have, a lot of other companies, and independent contractors working for us. And of course, there's always, that focus on making sure that we get quality, products and results from people that's being paid, to deliver and do the job.
Exactly that. Yeah.
This is good. So speaking of innovation, what are you most excited about in terms of technology? Are there other things? Obviously, you're heavily in RX. Are there other things that you folks are like exploring in terms of like innovation?
In some ways, financial services is very innovative from an engineering perspective, in that it is really focused on very high performance, low latency systems, and demands a lot from engineering teams like ourselves. And in other ways, they can be quite slow moving. So we moved to RX in 2010 and have been using it in all of our projects since then, which I think is quite fast moving, given RX is still being talked about and picked up in the mainstream at the moment. But then in other areas like the cloud, financial services is quite slow moving. So one of the areas we see great amount of innovation and excitement is in the ability to bring cloud native application architectures to front office trading platforms. We have built in the last couple of years quite a few platforms that are running on the public cloud. We won an award for that work earlier this year, actually, which was fantastic. And I think that the ability to reduce the amount of money needed to be spent on capital infrastructure, like hardware to put into a data center, and instead all the benefits that everyone at this conference understands from dealing with the cloud, right? The fact that you can just spin up infrastructure very cheaply and deploy and configure really high quality production grade infrastructure that would otherwise cost you significant amount of money and time to deploy physically. You can just click buttons and deploy configuration to get exactly what you need. That is where I see a huge amount of innovation coming from. Anywhere that lowers the cost of anything I should say that lowers the cost of experimentation and the cost to get going is fantastic. And I think we're going to see a lot of innovation in that space, particularly with the more broader adoption of things like RX, where streaming and the concept of streaming data streams all the way through the UI and from the back end becomes more prevalent, will enable a lot of innovation as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. This move to cloud, because I remember back when I started a long time ago in Citigroup, like I was deploying like changes to production, and I have to like physically like go to a like
Copy
a
things up, right? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
like with all this like big machines and yeah, so it's totally different now, which is really great. As you said, it's lower cost and it's much easier to deploy things. Definitely, like I'm used to like the usual SDLC model, but now it's all agile and you can deploy, like daily if you want to, right? So it's totally a different environment, and obviously it's a welcome change, for everyone.
Yep.
So are there new projects that Adaptive is looking into at the moment, or you're just continually building things for clients?
We're very busy with client work at the moment. On our internal workbench, we have an application called Reactive Trader, which for those that are going to attend Joseph's talk during the conference, we'll see him show. That is where we do all of our sort of research and development, I guess you could say. It's an open source application, so people can take a look at it and understand the how we put together these sort of highly available streaming applications for our
Okay.
clients. As you would know, having worked at Citigroup, most of the things we build are pretty tied up behind NDAs and confidentiality agreements, and they're not particularly retail or consumer facing. These are enterprise applications used by other businesses, which means they're not that visible, unfortunately. And indeed, it's sort of a joke, but really the best time you do see the sort of applications we build, is when a journalist shows up in a trading floor and you see it on the screen of someone behind the journalist, right?
Right.
But the research and development we're doing into Reactive Trader at the moment is fantastic. We've just rewritten the whole app, or Joseph has rewritten the whole app to take advantage of RxJS, and we're now rolling out that architectural pattern and style into our projects, hugely improving the performance of the applications we're building for our clients. And after that, there's always change in the ecosystem. So front-end applications in financial services are supported and run within web containers. They don't just run in a normal web browser. So platforms like OpenFin, like Mosaic, like Glue42 are all systems that our clients use to host and run their applications. And that system, that world is always innovative, and we're spending a lot of time keeping up with those features. And the other thing that we're seeing quite a lot of at the moment actually is around something called interoperability. So this is trying to bring the workflow style and feature you have of data interoperability on your mobile phone. So for example, the ability to share an address from one app into Google Maps, for example, and do something with that address onto the desktop. Web applications are fantastic for being able to mash up different data sources on the back end, so having APIs that you can call to bring in applications from different service providers. But there has been relatively less innovation on the client side, enabling me as a user to stitch together different workflows from this web app to another web app running on my desktop. To do this sort of integration myself in real time in response to things that I want to perform. We're seeing a lot of innovation there, and there's an open source consortium called Finos that specializes in financial services, and they have a group called FTC3, which I think is really going to bring a lot of innovation to the space, and we're big believers in that.
Okay. Yeah, I knew Joseph's talk will be very interesting. And initially, we allocated half an hour for his talk, and I was saying to myself, okay, this is probably the first time we're having someone from the, working, and using React with RxJS. So I said to him, do you need more time? Initially,
And
so,
I'm sure he said yes.
minutes, is fine. And then we went to 45 minutes, and then eventually we ended up, I think we ended with an hour. So I'm really looking forward to that talk. And we've been highlighting that as well in some of the communication, that we're sending out, because as I said, I'd like other people who are using other frameworks to, check out RxJS and anything RX really. And we also have Matt Padiwowski, who actually started, RxJS a long time ago. Obviously, Ben Lesh is now, the person who's been working in it in the last few years and have put in definitely a lot of, personal hours, getting it to where it is. And RxJS 7 obviously is getting released, around around now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
The buzz
very
is great. I remember Matt
yeah.
from the conference circuit a few years ago when I was going to different conferences and talking about the work we did and showing how we used RxJS and the applications we built. It's fantastic that the effort and the energy that he's putting into it. It's really great.
Yeah, definitely, and the same with Ben. I think both of them have contributed a
Absolutely,
lot.
yeah.
So yes, so yeah, we appreciate all the work that people have been putting in. I mean, these are obviously open source projects, and no one's getting paid to work on this. So yeah, it's we're really appreciative and thankful of people from any open source project really who are giving their personal time to come up with with better products, and obviously this are being used by a lot of companies. RxJS in particular, I believe, has got, if I'm not mistaken, around 18 million downloads a week. So it's pretty massive. So imagine that big project being maintained by a small group of people who are not being paid to do this. So
Absolutely, yeah, it's fantastic.
I really encourage people from the community to contribute, to these projects. And also, one thing I'd like to stress is that they have to be patient as well, because there are people who, can be demanding, even with projects like this, which are like, maintained by people who are volunteering, their own time. So we need to have a bit of patience with regards to people, not responding to things, recognizing that this is really not their main job. So, have a little bit of patience there and contribute where you can. Basically,
Absolutely.
I think it's a message for open source folks out there. So anything else that you want to highlight, Matt, with regards to adaptive? Or are you like hiring at the moment?
We are indeed hiring. We are indeed hiring. If anyone would like to come and work for us, please get in touch with myself. I'm sure my details will be available by the conference. Absolutely, get in touch with me. Have a look at Joseph's talk, the style of application that he's building. Then that is exactly what we work on at Adaptive. It's not pretend. That is the style of work we do, and the language and the tooling that we build our applications with. If that sounds exciting and cool to people, then we are definitely hiring all over the world. So please get in touch from wherever you are.
Yeah. So where are you present at the moment? I know you're in Canada and the US. Am I right?
That's right. Canada, the US, Barcelona, and also Spain and England and the United Kingdom as well. So offices particularly in London, Barcelona, New York, and Montreal. But we have people working from us pretty globally. We've got clients in Asia as well as North America and Europe. So yeah, just get in touch if you like the style
I
of
was
work.
surprised that you're calling in from London, because when I looked at your bio before this call, I saw Auckland. So I said, oh, he's going to be calling in from New Zealand. It's a bit late, over there.
Very late. Yeah, no. I've been in London 15 years now. So London's my home.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So thank you for that, Matt. And we'll obviously encourage more people to watch Joseph's talk. I definitely am, looking forward to that. And yeah, thanks for joining us today. And yeah, we'll share more information about Adaptive in in a newsletter that's coming out around the conference. And yeah, so check that out, folks, and check out Adaptive. Thank you very
Wonderful.
much.
Thanks, Jen. Enjoy the conference, everyone.